What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at all of the icon midfielders. Let's get straight into it because there is a lot to go on. So we are going to start with some of the low tier because there's quite a few now where if you do look at FUTBIN, you're looking at 26k for Varane, 40k, we're looking at 48k for the other Varane, and then you could even see quite a lot of them at pretty much discard value for a normal icon. That is around about 65,000, give or take, is the absolute minimum you would be able to list. So you can already see a good 34, 35 players that are at the absolute minimum already. So if we have a look at them and kind of whittle through some that just don't quite make it, I am going to be a little bit more lenient. We've got the S+, which is going to be for, I'm going to say, 3 different players. So we're going to have a Cam, we're going to have a CM, a box-to-box, and we're going to have a DM. So all of them, there's going to be one per of them positions. It's normally what I do now with that S+, because otherwise you end up with the same players in constantly, whereas this is going to be my personal opinion on the best icon Cam, box-to-box, and CDM. Then we obviously have S, which can still be at the absolute top. So for instance, if I was to say Bobby Charlton is my favourite Cam, number 1 on the list, but then I've got someone like a Zidane. Well, of course, Zidane is going to be top of the top as well, but it is just a personal preference on that number 1 for me. So as we go down the list then, we will go for Gattuso first. He just really hasn't hit, in my opinion. I feel like he really could do with a monster upgrade. I know we've had a few leaks now for the second Future Star icon batch. I believe we've got Baggio in it. We've got Zico in it. Trying to think of any other midfielders. I don't think I've saw Lampard or Gerrard at all. Well, Gerrard's got in there. I don't know if Lampard's been leaked or he could be a potential. I know Cannavaro's in there as well. So we more than likely will see a few more names as we go through the rest of the week. But Gattuso is desperate for an upgrade, let alone only getting a +1, which was fair enough. The game was relatively new during Centurions. We now need a bigger upgrade to really make him relevant again. We have got the 3 Hadjis. Again, with the dynasties, I understand the junior progress of this, like how you got Varane, 86, 87, 89. We've got 88, 89, 90. I don't think we need that middle card. I get that the whole process is it's like showing you a base mid prime, but I really just don't feel like we need it. If I was to go be brutal with all of these, I think the final version of Hadji is semi-okay. I don't think he's great, but I think he just pushes that one barrier above. Everybody else can absolutely get in the bin. When we then look at Riquelme, I'm not a personal big fan. I don't think he really works in this sort of area. Again, you're going to need a bigger upgrade. I know he has a centre forward or a striker card from Winter Wildcard. I don't think it works. Ian Rush, I don't think works. Neither does Scholes, to be honest. Scholes was always one that I knew as soon as he finished and was kind of rumoured to be an icon, he just really wouldn't work in the game. His whole ability process was nothing based around what actually could be done in FIFA, because he was never the quickest. He was all about the passing, all about the ball control. Defending was questionable. Maybe a little bit of strength, which is definitely shown, and then a decent amount of shooting. Unfortunately, that doesn't make a FIFA card a recipe for a meta card anytime soon. I don't know what I was going to say. Bastian Schweinsteiger, again, could do with the upgrade. I love it when he gets that pace boost. He just gets an overall good look for the card. That is what we're kind of waiting for now. The base is getting pretty done. Same with Seedorf. I feel like his newly Future Star is much, much better. Gone in and taken that CDM role, that centre mid CDM role to an absolute cleaners. I think it's a monster upgrade for him. I would happily go A+ for him. He will naturally decline over time, but for right now, I think it's a solid triple upgrade for him, and he's definitely feeling the benefits. Xabi Alonso, unfortunately, it's not very good for him. If then we keep going, Pirlo, I could argue with him. I think he's an okay card, but very much how we see Scholes. He's very, very similar. When you look at him in terms of his card, 105 for this version. Then we did get a decent upgrade for the 92. He is a 5-star, 4-star, was an SBC, but he did get that pace boost of a +7. Everything else got a moderate upgrade for only a +2, which is absolutely fine. So if I was going to go for it, I feel like normal Pirlo is going to go in the bottom. and big Pirlo, 92 Pirlo. I'm going to go A+ for passing. Yeah, we'll keep him on that. We may review it at the end and see where and if players just don't match up to what I'm kind of saying here. If then we look through Xavi, I feel like he's in really the same sort of boat. I'm not a big fan of his base. His Team of the Year icon most definitely is in a lot better situation. One of the fewer cards that has got a double playstyle plus, which is nice. It's got technical and long ball pass, which is always going to be good. Did get a nice pace increase as well. Did get some defending, which obviously can be used with an anchor. And you should be able to get mostly explosive, 90 on the pace, 81. It's definitely an upgrade. It's a 96 overall. I feel like they got him pretty right. Whether I think he's absolutely useful in a centre mid, I'm still going to stick him in an A+. I'd probably put him more towards the kind of end here. Obviously, Pirlo, if he got an upgrade with a double playstyle, could be just as good. I think that is, again, what he's waiting for to go forward once more. If then we kind of look at a top player, let's have a look and see where I'd go with one of my best players, and I think it's quite an easy one for the cam. There is arguments. You've got Zidane, you've obviously got Ronaldinho, you've got Pele. Now, if you're going by the letter, you'd obviously go with Zidane, because technically you'd go with Ronaldinho as a left wing. You'd then obviously go with Zidane as the cam. If you're then looking at someone like Zico, I still feel like he's under Zidane. And then Pele, I'd argue that you'd go striker for him, to be honest. I don't know if you would drop him into that cam role straight away. So if I'm looking at that from the position of what this card is, I'm going to have to go with Ronaldinho in there. Ronaldinho is absolutely brilliant. You won't beat him in this game. He is fantastic, very highly priced, but he has got a Thunderstruck version, but that is left wing. We have taken these as their position they default as, other than Hullet, mainly because he has got a centre mid role, but Hullet is a midfielder. I don't see many people, if they are using Hullet, as a striker, unless they physically have no other strikers. But then, that's just down to how OP he really is.
If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable. But make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders.
If we're then going to blast through a few more, I'm kind of looking at some of the winter wildcards here. So if we look between the ones that don't have a second card, we have a Van Basten. That's very, very bottom. He is close to just being put straight in there. Trezeguet, actually a decent card. He wouldn't necessarily be in the top of the A+, but he sits prettily at the back there. I feel like from an SBC point of view, with how cheap he was, definitely not a bad option you can go with. I'm going to go with Shearer kind of towards the A as well, because there is no way that you play this card in cam. With the shooting that he actually lost in comparison to what he's got, you would literally just put him as a striker anyway. Like, genuinely, you look, he lost one shooting, gained the 5 pace, which is perfect because you're not going to gain that anywhere else. You literally whack a hunter on him. You got 95. Like, genuinely, he turns into a 93 rated striker. I'm not putting him in cam if he can be a striker still. So definitely, as a cam, no thank you. As a striker, not an awful card. Bergkamp, again, very kind of lower end A. Closer, definitely put in a bit more work. I'm kind of still sitting on the fence with him. I always thought that it was really, really blocky for his type. He is 154, which is still a respectable price for an icon. So I can't quite go in the B, but I did think there was better CDMs out there. If, for instance, we look at a CDM, Rijkaard is a phenomenal option. If you're looking at his SBC, he's currently coming in at 266 on the market right now. I think he was a great addition. Intercept plus. Don't know if I'd go as head of myself to say S, but I'd definitely put him somewhere kind of in that category with the A pluses. And then we might as well move over to Petit as well. I feel like he's very similar. Both of them attract the same sort of type of card. Both of them can play centre-back as well. So if you wanted to have one or the other, because if you're like me, I like a 2 centre mid, or at least a 2 midfield jobby. We have the left mid with the right mid, or left wing, right wing, 2 strikers. But I normally have a defensive centre mid, could be a box-to-box with heavy defence, and then an attacking centre mid. Somebody with a box-to-box attack, or just a cam. So at the moment, it is going to be Putiela's Team of the Year, box-to-box defensive to some extent, but I've got Zidane next to it because I'm not giving up Zidane. I've just done the SBC. And Team of the Year was very, very fortunate for that one card. So I'm kind of stuck with them two, but I suppose I could have worse problems when it comes to it. Petit on his base, yep, you are going underneath. Same as Rijkaard as well. I feel like them two were very standout cards for the lower market, or low to mid. I think they were kind of chilling around about the 250, 350 mark. But I do think now they are slowly losing their balance and going into that B, as they should. The progression should take hold of. We, by the end of it, should see most of the base tier at here. They've got to be, because surely the progression takes over. We have Abili, still very nice card, very much like how Sour was with hers. I think now we've got the upgrade, I'd be looking something like that. They're starting to come down. The S now is going into double playstyle pluses, a first upgrade or even a second upgrade for some cards, and then just the top of the top, the ones that have never changed, that are millions on just their base form. Baggio, very similar to this. I'm going to be very interested to see where this future star goes. We've been seeing a lot more double, triple, and maybe even a quadruple upgrade. I don't know if I see that for Baggio. I could really see them going double playstyle plus and add in just a +1 overall. They won't want him to go too high, because if you think about it, a double already takes him to 93, a triple takes him to 94. That's getting into territory where the next upgrade could be something special, but this could be the only one we get. We physically don't know. Then we have Essien. Great card. One of the more favoured CDMs out of the bunch of Petit, Rijkaard, Essien. You add Makalele as well. So in terms of what we're seeing here, very, very nice indeed. We've got the double playstyle plus with Jockey and Ariel still chilling at 1.2. We then have 70,000 coins for his base. He is most definitely going to sit in that bottom category there. When it comes to his playstyle pluses on his double, he obviously did get the 4-star, which is nice. He is coming in at a big, big price as well. I must admit, I quite like both of them. If Jockey, it's hard because you'd easily just go, well, if it had Intercept and Anticipate, it'd be easily an S category, but you're not always going to have the right ones. Ariel's always nice in the midfield, never going to turn that down. Jockey, you could use it. I do use it every now and then. I'm not jockeying 24/7, but most definitely not the worst thing you can have. I'm going to go at a very low S tier for him. He's kind of just on the gap between them. We have Roy Keane. Honestly, Roy Keane is bottom of bottom. I don't even like the Winter Wildcard. I think he's just slightly better than his other version. The only reason why he's in A is purely for the fact that he got a 10 increase on that pace as well. Lampard can easily get in here, and to be honest, Loudrop can as well. Very, very bog standard. And I would say Makalele is probably in the same sort of predicament, maybe a little bit less than Rijkaard and Petit now, mainly because of that extra boost they got from the future stars. Makalele, though, has got himself the block playstyle plus, still a 3-star, which is going to hold him back a little bit, but hopefully we do get an upgrade at some point. We then have Socrates, or Socrates, however you're going to pronounce it. He's currently coming in at 108 with the ability of an Evolutions. I don't know if that one's gone yet, but that was always a nice upgrade. 4-star, 5-star, having that ability going forward with a flare. He is definitely a decent card when you look at him. 89 rated though, is he still in that absolute top? I think for me, I would go, I'm feeling a low A+. Definitely could do with the upgrade. We are seeing that now with a lot of these bases. It is just like I say, the top end of the top end is what's going to be really at this end now, because really a lot of bases are just at the low point now. We've got so many icon upgrades, player picks, 1 of 2s, 3s, 4s. I'm surprised we haven't had a 1 of 5 anytime soon. But then we have Balak. So we did have an upgrade from a Thunderstruck. Unfortunately, that upgrade didn't go to plan really. He didn't get the upgrade, very much like De Jong, an SBC that just really didn't pay off. So really there's no way of actually getting that card if you didn't finish the SBC. It did only got a minute upgrade really. We obviously got the 4-star, 4-star already on the card. That card could actually technically be higher as well, which is jokes in itself, especially because you were hoping he was going to get that upgrade. Now in terms of Balak, I still like his positioning. I like his body type. He's obviously a tall centre mid at 6'2". The 4-star, 4-star is always good. I'm going to go bog standard with him. I don't feel like he's quite B. Very close to being B, but most definitely not there. Maybe the 89 could have gone up if he did manage to get it. But even then, I'd argue he's probably a little bit on the floor now. We are looking at Gerrard. I think he had a great upgrade from obviously his future stars now. 88 rated is pretty much just like Lampard. Has some ability, but he's definitely not getting in. Whereas the actual Gerrard now most definitely is looking a lot better. The 91 future star, we've obviously got the 4-star on him, double playstyle plus with incisive and pinged pass, as well as then a lovely upgrade from him. So he's gone from his 88 all the way up to a 91. I don't feel like he's absolute star material, but he's definitely on the way up. And then to be honest, we managed to get most of this done relatively easy. I feel like a lot of people could quite easily put everybody else into categories. We're going to go Del P, we're going to put him in the kind of A+. Same as Stoichkov. You could argue between the positions of them. Maybe you want them more as a striker. Maybe you want them as a winger. Stoichkov definitely can play that really well. Del P with the long ball pass for me has to be in the midfield. I'm not really going to utilise that very much as a striker. So even if you could find him as a centre forward, he's going to do better with that assisting play to utilise that play style plus. Then we've got the arguments. I need a box-to-box. I need a CDM. Now, if I'm going for a DM of the best category, I don't feel like you could get much better than our man Vieira. He is brilliant at that role. You've got the double play style pluses on him. I'm trying to think or remember what he actually does have, but he has got block and intercept, which is going to be perfect. And I'd say you've got the argument in terms of the best box to box. You have got the arguments between Matthias and also Hullet. Both of them are insanely good in there. It doesn't matter. If you picked Ronaldinho, Vieira, Zidane, Hullet, Pele, Zico, you could go Bobby Charlton, Kaka, obviously not all together, but if you could pick two of them, as long as they're defensive and attacking, you will be absolutely fine. All of them are pretty much team of the season tier, even to some extent end tier, especially with the team of the year ones, 100%. They are going to be phenomenal. So if I was to go for it, I would go Vieira as my CDM, as I just think he works really well there. And as a DM, I'm going to go Matthias. I feel like them three are especially incredible, and I imagine that Hullet is cooking up something massive. He is going to have a big upgrade at some point. So then if we finish off the list, I'm going to go Kaka in a very high level of kind of an A plus for his 90, or his 89 in fact, because he got the double upgrade. I'm a big fan of him. I'm going to go S there. Zico, I'd still probably go with his base there. We definitely go 92. I would put, Kaka behind him. Bobby Charlton, from previous experience, very little because he hasn't had another upgraded card. I'm going to go behind Zico but above Kaka. Matthias, phenomenal. Vieira, phenomenal. Pretty much the rest of these cards can go in here because they are just all the best of the best 100% of the time. Obviously, they're not in order of here. If I was to go order of each category, obviously they're all their different parts. It was going attacking, box-to-box, defensive. I would then go... What would we do? It's hard because I don't know who, because they're different positions. It's like as a cam, of course Pele is going to be better than somebody like a Sauer as a cam. But if I was to go favourites and kind of who I think is better, Hullet in most of his positions will win in this argument 100% of the time. I'd probably go there. Then would go with like the 95 Zidane. Would be chucking in Pele 100%. Probably go Pele one above him. Matthias has to go behind that. Then we'd go 94. To be fair, 94 Zidane has to go there. No, it would go one behind Matthias, actually. The 95 is just the special, lovely one. Then we'll go 92. We'll think... I'd probably say Centurion Zico probably takes over them. Both 5-star still. Sauer, does she stay above? I'm going to say she will go... She's a very good box-to-box, but I don't know if she overtakes... She'll probably overtake the base Zico. I'd still probably take Zidane. I'd go there. Essien, I'd probably say stick there. Kaka's there. Ooh, Hullet and Vieira. Hullet will go... You know what? Hullet will just sit himself in here and so will Vieira. I feel like that would be my sort of S+. I won't do it for the rest because then, B is just throw them all into a pit and see who lives. A is pretty standard. I would say, if I'm looking at favourites, I'd go... ooh. You know what? No, I must admit, I do prefer Kaka in general. Del P would go one above. Stoichkov would go one behind. CDM wise, oh, that's a tough one. I think Seedorf comes down a little bit there. I'd probably go a Bealey comes up one more. Yeah, I'm not going to go above. Sauer, probably a couple more, to be fair. Probably in terms of a centre mid, definitely comes forward. In terms of the bottom, it's got to be Trezeguet, probably even Pirlo. So I didn't know I was going to put this in, but because we left the video not uploaded for a while, we actually got the second set of icon players. So we've got the midfielders here, and we've got quite a few, so I'm glad that we've got this out when we did, really. And we have got some of the best midfielders going. David Beckham is outstanding, like crazily good. He is just an absolute breath of fresh air for the upgrade. We did get the Team of the Year last year, I think just before, because technically Team of the Year would have been before this, so it is nice to see him. And as you can see in terms of pricing, we're looking Beckham at 1.5, we're looking at Zidane at 7.4, Rivaldo at 885, Gattuso at 150, and Zico at 5.4. We obviously have Baggio as well as an SBC from yesterday. He's about 500 to 600 give or take. And I must admit, this batch was actually really nice. I would definitely say, I'm not going to go too crazy with this, how length they are, because they're only 5 cards. Beckham's definitely going up here. I still don't think Zidane takes out Ronaldinho. In terms of the cam, Zidane is always outstanding, as we know. He will definitely be one ahead. I think Beckham, honestly, in terms of what Beckham brings, I would put himself just above Matthias in a different role. Like, he's not necessarily this now defensive pro, but he's definitely incredible with that passing. Like, he blows Xavi, he blows any passing player out the water right now. Zico, again, is going to be respectable. I would say he's probably now, I'd say, above the normal Zidane. He's still got his 5-5. He's got the double play style plus with dead ball and also technical. Gattuso, little bit under our Rijkaard and Petit. Very similar. I would go... What were we looking? Where's the next CDM? So we've got Klose is definitely better than Klose. I'd probably put him at the top of A, to be honest. He wasn't awful. He's got the intercept, but he's definitely not on the level of Petit and Rijkaard, in my opinion. You all can have your opinion. That's absolutely fine. Baggio, I don't know if I'd go S tier. I'd probably go somewhere in the A plus for him. I'm thinking, if we're looking at the cams, I'd probably go somewhere similar to here. I'd say very similar to Del P. Definitely had a decent amount on him, but he weren't necessarily like crazy. He was just a decent cam that you could get for very little. I think they've desensitized ourselves to think 1 million coins, 2 million SBC is not much anymore. So whenever I see 100 to 500, I'm like, that's not too much. It's actually a decent amount of fodder. It's not the easiest to get, but now we're so used to seeing so many big SBCs, and it's just mad to think 500k now seems not a lot at all. And then we also have Rivaldo. Now, I don't think I have a Rivaldo in here, as this was normally a left wing. We've now moved him into a cam. Still a 4-star. Obviously, he's managed to get the power shot and flair on his playstyle plus. And to be honest, there isn't too much difference between the dynasties and obviously this one. It's a 1 upgrade, same skill move, weak foot, 1 extra playstyle plus. There's not a crazy deal between them. I don't know if I'd quite go S, as I definitely would prefer Kaka. I'd probably go 1 above. I'd go in the A+, and I think I'd keep him there. So let me know down below. It's just an extra little bit on the end. Hopefully you enjoyed. Peace.